So you're welcome to the press conference room in the Aviva, where a few minutes ago we had Roberto Martinez defending Cristiano Ronaldo, talking about how it was a harsh red card and he deserves credit for not being sent off previously. And of course, Aidan Fitzmaurice. We have witnessed an event tonight that will be seen around the world, which is a Cristiano Ronaldo red card. And I understand that because of the star power. But for me, I don't think that's what we should be going home talking about, although inevitably human nature is that you will. What we've seen tonight is a momentous Irish win, something you haven't seen effectively for a generation.
No.
And the dream, I mean, improbably, the World Cup dream is alive.
The World Cup is alive, and Portugal, who looked like they had the World Cup sewn up last month, are now stuttering over the line. Going to Armenia at the weekend, probably with bruise now. They're missing their captain. I thought that was.
They'll be fine. They should be fine.
I don't know. I thought that was. I thought Portugal were shambles. I thought Martinez. There'd be a lot of questions about Martinez as a manager, his ability to do it. I think that is the kind of result that if he was managing a club side and they lost a game like that, he'd be sacked straight away. I thought they were an embarrassment to the great name of Portugal football. That's not to discredit the Irish performance. I thought they were immense. I think the problem often here in the Aviva has been the crowd, the poor atmosphere. It's slow. The team are slow start. The crowd don't get involved. The crowd in their seats. I think it all just fell place tonight. People were in their seats early. The crowd seemed up for it. The players, I think, inspired the crowd. They got them on board early on. The weather, that's that good possession from Portugal in the first 10, 15 minutes. They didn't really do anything with the possession they have. And Ireland getting the goal, and once they're in front, I don't think Portugal were taken away from them.
Yeah, I think the strange thing for me about that was listening to Hamer yesterday, and what he spoke about was, I mean, some of his words yesterday just goes to show sometimes that we analyse the press conference words and we recur over them, and though sometimes we probably labour too much about them, because I mean, if you listen to him yesterday, he was chatting very much about the draw. Now I appreciate that went before maybe the Hungary Armenia result. He was hoping for the best case scenario there, and Ireland didn't get that. Maybe that made it a win or bust game. But the way he was chatting, it was like, well, later in the game, maybe we'll need to go for the goal. And you kind of got the impression, I think I said it with Joe on the podcast the other day, that almost the best chance of a result would be almost a board draw, not a basketball game, as he discussed. And look, it wasn't quite like that, but there was a lot more ambition than we saw in Lisbon. And it was borderline end-to-end for a period around that sort of first half. But Ireland won the game, and maybe after September, Hamer and the Hungary game, Hamer spoke about chaos being a good thing. Those words were thrown back on him when it was too chaotic in Yerevan. But the balance between sort of controlled chaos was just about there tonight.
But controlled chaos, and I think that frustrated. You could see Portugal getting more and more frustrated as they got on. And again, if you look at moments in the game, I mean, the first goal, the corner that comes in, Costa loses it to Troy Parrott to keep up the corner, comes in. Liam Scales comes in. Joe Felix, I think it was, meant to be marking him, loses him. He switched off. That gave Liam Scales the opportunity. Some of the players were saying after that they've been working on that, and Nathan Collins said they've been working on that in training. And I wasn't coming off, because when Liam Scales got in the position in training, he was taking shots and they weren't going in. Whereas tonight it fell. Cullen's corner came in, it fell on the head of Scales, and then got it into Troy Parrott, a great delivery. So a lot of things fell, but I think that's credit to the players for withstanding that. I think that the weakness to me of this team the last while has been slow starters. Very rare that Ireland score in the first half of games. They get a response and they come from behind. I need to check the records. I can't remember the last time we scored 2 in the first half of a competitive game at home. It's against a proper
Gibraltar game.
Yeah, but against a top level opposition. So I think it just all came off, and then you could see it unravel for Portugal. Then when Ronaldo, to me, was a straight red, and you can see his petulance, and he's applauding the crowd. He gets the ball with Hamer Hagrimson. They lost their cool, and I think Ireland kept their cool. Finn Azaz got booked, but I think they were controlled in. They were aggressive, but controlled aggression. I think it was a magnificent performance. Darragh O'Shea, I thought, his delivery for the second goal, a ball out of defence. It's the kind of thing we saw with Irish teams in the past, where it's not a hoof ball from a Kevin Moran or Mick McCarthy or somebody. It's a clever ball from a centre half who spots the run of the attacking players. I thought it was immense, and credit to, I think both of us being critical of the players and of the management, the manager and the management team. I think they got it all right tonight, and it did help that Portugal just crumbled. I really was so disappointed with. I was disappointed with Portugal at home, but I thought they were an embarrassment to the name of Portuguese football tonight.
Yeah, I don't think too many people here were disappointed with Portugal in that context as they sort of.
No, but just in how they're built up and where they play. Where
Yeah, no, I think they showed a lack of respect. I think for me, the thing about Portugal was is how ill-disciplined they were without the ball, and I thought there was periods in the first half where they were all pressed up so high that it was almost so they were almost thinking we can manage this lot if they release it quickly, and they set up the game for Benny in terms of their approach. Azaz was a lot more, aggressive, I think, in how he played. Cullen, I thought at times Taylor did well, but I think there was a lack of respect in the Portuguese approach as much as anything.
But Ronaldo said at the press conference, we will win. There was no doubt about it. There was no, we have to normally hear politeness from the away team. Ronaldo said we will win. It was no doubt. And I think they will still qualify. They should still top the group, but they're a wounded animal. I imagine the Portuguese press are vicious when it comes to their team and their manager. I imagine Martinez will be absolutely pilloried in the Portuguese media over the next couple of days. Portugal do not lose to teams like Ireland 2-0. That is just unforgivable. I think a lot of the players showed. You can talk about heart and desire, and it's funny that Nathan Collins again said after that they've been close. He's been frustrated that they have. Where's this been for the last kind of two years? He thinks it's been there, it just hasn't come to the fore. It just came to the fore tonight.
Yeah, and that is the question. I mean, this is the thing, and for me, it's the interesting post-match angle. I mean, apart from Seamus Coleman, who was in Lille, this is the best night of the international lives of all the other players. Even Troy Parrott saying it's the best night of his life. And you go back to that Germany game in 2015, which was similar in a lot of ways. The scenario was different, but Ireland went to Poland thinking then, oh yeah, we could qualify automatically, and you just can't, like, it was impossible to manage that high. And that's the only slight drawback this time. There's no playoff fallback. You've had the game of your life tonight, and you have to somehow find the pitch to back it up on Sunday. Now, of course, the Hungarian players, the Hungarian sort of public, probably think the job is done at 7:00, and all of a sudden the pressure's on then. But still, it is the niggling concern. It's like you have a sort of a perfect performance, almost out of nowhere. To get two back to back would be like almost unprecedented.
And so particularly with this group.
So where's the belief it can happen like that?
That hasn't happened. It's something that Hamer has concerned himself with, that in a double header, the first performance is often good, the second isn't. It's in relative terms, friendlies, but Senegal, a good performance and a good result, and then a poor performance and result away to Luxembourg, because it happened that they seemed to reach heights in the first game of a window and then struggle in the second one. So I think they will have learned from that. I think the management team will have learned from that. Maybe if changes, we're waiting to hear about Evan Ferguson, what state he'll be in. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised if that would happen.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Roma release him, to be honest, because they're struggling for strikers. Dobvik is out for a while, so I wouldn't be surprised if Roma just pulled rank and said, listen, he's not going, we need him here. But you got Troy Parrott. I think Ida was a very frustrated man in the last away game. He didn't get on. You could see it. He was storming about the place, having not got on. Ida, I think, looked again good tonight. He was playing for the team, not playing for himself. So I think it's how he picks the team. And again, this team of players missing, Smallbone missing, Jason Knight missing, Malumbi to come back in, Ryan Manning. There's 2 players to come back into the squad, 3 if Ferguson is fit. I think they're in better shape. And I think the experience of that and how they handle that transition from a high to then going into a low, because they now it's simple, they need to win in Budapest. A draw is no use. How do they manage that? And I think they will have learned from past mistakes, past windows, and to coach that into the players and have them prepped. And I think it's going to be a fascinating game on Sunday.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe on Sunday we'll get the hang in there for the late strike game that we were expecting tonight. But either way, Ireland have got the result. They're still alive. We're going to Budapest. We'll talk to you there.